Hi, this is Thresden, and this is part 31 of an Elder Scrolls Online Greymoor Edition walkthrough. In the previous episode, we killed High King Svargrim, but we still don't know what happened to Lyris and Fenn. They were trying to hold off the harrowfiends who were invading Solitude, so we need to find out what happened to them, and we've got a few other loose ends to tie up, so that's what we're going to do right now. Looks like everything's okay. The harrowfiends have been stopped somehow.
Some say the locals here are aloof. I think it's just a matter of listening and empathizing. Come, tell me what you need, and I'll do my best to help you out.
Alright, now, I'm seeing a quest icon right here. Oh, maybe I have to go around. That would make sense. I mean, I don't think she's... You know what? I'll bet she's in the, I want to say maybe she's in the bar, but it doesn't look like it. It looks like she's up here. Oh, she's standing right here.
My father betrayed everything to aid the Grey Host. With his death, Solitude is saved. It's done. We killed my father and ended the Harrowstorm. The city still stands. Skyrim still stands. Although the Tower of the Wolf may have been damaged beyond repair.
Are you alright with all this, Fauna?
No, of course not. My father was the High King of Western Skyrim. I always thought he had the best interests of our holds and our people in his heart. But there was a darkness there. Jealousy, bitterness. He wanted to control all of Skyrim.
So, joining the Grey Host was just about power?
For Svargrim, yes, I think it was. As for Rada al-Saran and the Grey Host, I'm not entirely sure what they're after. Enough of this. I need to get to work. With my father gone, someone has to pick up the pieces and restore the holds.
Is there something you need me to do?
First, on behalf of Western Skyrim, take this with my thanks. We would have been lost without you. Then, rest. Check on our friends. Injuries must be tended to, buildings repaired. Other wounds will take longer. We'll have more to do soon enough.
Alright, we got a Greymoor skull cap. Adds 802 maximum magicka. Part of the Winter's Respite set.
Whatever Rada al-Saran and the Grey Host were planning, I think the worst is behind us as far as Western Skyrim is concerned. With Svargrim dead, their grip on the holds comes to an end.
Are you in charge of Solitude now?
Not officially. At least I don't think so. I feel like the whole world's crumbling around me. But the city's still standing, so that's something. I'm more worried about our friends. We left Lyris and Fenn to hold of a horde of harrowfiends.
I almost forgot about that.
Hopefully they were able to hold the courtyard and keep those monsters out of the city. You go on ahead and check on them. I need to collect myself. Solitude needs Princess Svanna now. And I'm not quite ready to be her.
I'll find Lyris and Fenn.
Thank you. Help them and anyone else as best you can. I'll do the same. Once you're done with them, I'll find you and we can figure out what to do next.
Do you think the danger has passed?
Gods, I hope so. Haven't we dealt with enough already? I need to see what happened firsthand. All the suffering and pain my father caused. I can't undo it, but I can make amends. Or at least try to.
Alright, let's see if we can find Lyris and Fenn. Maybe they're over here? It's showing them in a weird place. Over here. Temple courtyard.
Tell me truthfully, Lyris. How much of this blood is mine?
Not enough to be worried about. So, is it over? What happened to Svargrim? And where's Svanna?
Svargrim's dead, and Svanna's fine, but she needed a moment. She asked me to check on you.
A parent's betrayal cuts deeper than a sword. But Svanna's strong. Stronger than she's been given credit for. And Solitude's going to need that strength in the coming days.
Do you think she can handle it?
If you told me the tavern rat we met at the Lonely Troll would become my choice to lead this land, I'd have called you mad. Then again, my king's a skald, so what do I know? Come on, there's probably something productive we should be doing.
What do you have in mind?
Last I heard, Sword Thane Uthlet was gathering everyone he could at the Hall of the Dead. Head over there and see how they weathered the Harrow Storm. I'll take care of securing Castle Dower. As for Fenn, you might remind him we need a lot of elixir.
What happened with the horde of harrowfiends?
We did our best to hold the harrowfiends inside Castle Dower, but nothing short of stone walls were going to keep those monsters from pushing through. It seemed like everyone I killed was replaced by 2 more.
How did you stop them?
Almost didn't. We were nearly overrun before Fenn went wild. I've never seen him like that, snarling and showing what a true vampire can do. Took the harrowfiends by surprise and we routed them. I did have to thwack him to clear his head, though.
You did it. I shouldn't be surprised. But things were looking rather bleak before the clouds parted.
What happened with the horde of harrowfiends?
We held the gate as long as we could. The harrowfiends were a flood of claws and teeth. Once they burst through, Lyris cleaved through them like a scythe through wheat. But even she couldn't stem the tide.
So what happened?
I'm not really sure. I kind of went wild. Let out my inner beast, as it were. I was rending and slashing. Then Lyris whacked me with the flat of her blade. At least that's the last thing I remember. Not my finest hour, but we survived.
So what now?
The Sword Thane gathered people in the Hall of the Dead. Go check on them while I pull myself together. This whole ordeal has been a lot more strenuous than I'm accustomed to. Then I'll get to work on the elixir and a cure for the Herod.
What about the harrowfiends?
Sadly, I don't think there's any hope for them. Their life energy was sucked dry, turning them into feral beasts. Restoring them is beyond my capabilities, I'm afraid. At least with the Herod, they're not so far gone as to be a lost cause.
And the elixir will protect everyone else?
As soon as we produce enough of it, yes. We saw how it protected Svanna. Now, where did I put my flask?
Have you a drink, Fennorian. You deserve it. Alright, it is way past time for me to quit playing, but I'm going to go ahead and go to this celebration here. We're going to finish off the chapter. Storyline. We've still got lots of quests to do in the rest of Western Skyrim, but this will be the end of the Greymoor main story, at least.
Ha! Good to see you aren't raising mugs with Ysmir just yet.
We saw the storm break, but we heard nothing since you departed from Blackreach.
I regret we didn't throw a parade to welcome you back, but I'll cheer enough for 100 souls if you tell me you put that backbiter of a High King to the sword. But what of Svanna? Is she?
Svanna's alive, but I can't say the same for the High King.
That's good, but a daughter shouldn't have to kill her own father. Svanna has my support, for whatever that's worth. She's going to need all the help she can get in the days to come.
So Svanna's the queen now?
Not until we hold a moot to support her claim, and we need more than a single Jarl for that to occur. If Svanna proves herself as the acting Jarl, they might look past her father's failings and make her the queen. Eventually.
She's proven capable so far.
We can settle the matter of the crown when there's kingdom enough to rule. What remains of the holds are still ravaged by the harrow storms, and I doubt we've seen the last of the Grey Host, for that matter.
Any word from your hold?
None good, but none bad either. My wife knows better than anyone how to care for our people. I trust she and my thane to protect and care for Morthal in my absence.
All right.
We seem to have survived, thank the gods. I thought for certain we were all about to witness the end of the world.
It looks like Solitude weathered the storm.
No thanks to Svargrim, damn his eyes. After you and the princess went off to Blackreach, I gathered whoever we could, and made our stand here in the Hall of the Dead. I'm just glad we don't have to be permanent residents.
So no major casualties?
Far fewer than I feared when the storm began. Thanks to you and the princess. With the storm over and the Grey Host driven from Castle Dower, my soldiers will get the city back into shape. As long as no one else attacks us in the meantime.
I'll leave you to it.
They're here! They're at the gates!
The Grey Host? I thought we were done with them for now.
Not the Grey Host! The Skald King with an army from the east!
What treachery is this?
To the gates. We'll give the Skull King a proper welcome, one way or another.
Svargrim was right to fear you envoys from the east.
I have no idea what's happening here.
That either makes you a fool or it makes us fools for trusting you.
We won't know until we find out what he wants. I could say Yoren sent us here to help. I don't believe he'd turn on you now. But if you remember at the beginning, this character was not sent by Yoren. I pretended to be sent by him when I wasn't.
I owe you for what you've done. But if I have to raise my sword against you to defend my home, I will. All right, let's go see what the Skald King wants.
What should I make of this timely visit? Has Yoren finally decided to attack?
No one told me to expect the Skald
The
King.
work of the she-giant, then. But did she call for him to aid us in our hour of need, or to deliver the killing blow?
I don't know.
Let's see what words the poet has for us this time.
I truly don't know. This character has nothing to do with the Skald King.
Pleased to see you in solitude,
We come in
stranger.
peace.
He said, "Stand down, you idiots, we come in peace."
Partner, could really use your knack for diplomacy right now. Speak to the Skald King before we start a war.
Sure save me from fools and prophets. Will no one properly greet a weary traveler? You don't look like one of these Western milk drinkers. Tell them we're not a damn invasion, we're here to help. Maybe you can tell me what's going on.
All right, guys, here's my chance to assassinate Yoren the Skald King and deal a fatal blow to the Ebonheart Pact so that the Daggerfall Covenant can take over Tamriel. I'm going to kill him right now. Just kidding. I don't want to start a civil war in Skyrim. I guess I'll try to work this out. The Grey Host was behind the attacks on Western Skyrim. High King Svargrim, we had to kill him.
So the rumors are true? Svargrim joined the Grey Host? I knew he had ambitions, but to throw away his humanity like that, it's inconceivable. Svargrim once told me that he would die before welcoming me to solitude. I suppose he was right.
The Grey Host caused a lot of damage. These people could use your help.
That's why I sent Lyris here in the first place. I'm not the king of these holds, though. I can't do anything if they refuse my help. Svargrim despised me. He would never accept my aid. But Svanna... here she comes now. Let's see what she has to say.
Whatever you think, King Yoren.
We have no need of help that involves welcoming your soldiers within our walls.
My walls, Jarl. My father may have been willing to slap aside the helping hand, but I'm not. Permit me a word with your envoy, Skald King. Thank you for holding the line, I mean. I'm ready to do what I should have done a long time ago. To do what my father never could. I'll speak with the Skald King. There's one more thing I'd like you to do while I entertain our guests.
What do you need?
We saved Solitude. But our war with the Grey Host is far from over. We need Fenn's elixir more than ever. With that, and King Yoren's help, we might just push these monsters back into their grave for good. Check on Fenn's progress, please.
Anything else?
That depends on Fenn. If there's anything standing in his way, let me know. And I'll do everything in my power to get him what he needs.
Alright, I'll speak with Fenn.
Fenn is with old Mjolnir at the Mages Guild. When you're finished with him, join me in the courtyard of the Blue Palace. I'm going to hold a moment of remembrance for this city. We all need a moment to mourn what we lost.
What about your guests?
I'm going to invite the Skald King to join us. If the people of Solitude see him bow his head along with the rest of us, they may not care about the divide between the East and the West.
I should remain with the Skald King. I trust you can handle Svanna's request without me.
Did the princess say something about an elixir? Windhelm will provide whatever resources are necessary to produce as much of an elixir as possible.
Alright, that's good.
Fenn is with old Mjolnir at the Mages.
Clasping arms with Easterners. There's been enough death for one day.
Alright. We need to go to the Mages Guild. Fenn? Fenn? Where are you?
Ingenious. A rare thing to find an elf with the makings of a clever woman.
Despite what my kin might proclaim, it's not all in the blood. Ah, good, you're here. We've made a breakthrough.
You
I
have.
was just discussing a theory with Mjolnir, and it seems like we're very close to turning this elixir into a true restorative.
Meaning what?
A cure. Singolis's research on the Netherroot showed me just how it weakens the connection between a body and soul. Thus far, I've been able to inure a person to the root, but now I'm certain I can use that knowledge to heal those weakened bonds.
How quickly can you produce this cure?
Well, it is just a theory at this point. There's a lot more testing and experimentation to be done before we can produce a viable antidote. Weeks, optimistically?
Svanna needs your elixir now. She asked me to make sure everything is going smoothly.
I know. We can't simply put things on hold. Mjolnir and I have a batch brewing right now, and materials to keep producing for another day. Ingert's promised us a steady supply of Arcase oil, but that's not our limiting factor.
What's the problem?
We know enough about Singolis's refinement processes to replicate his methods, but we still need a source of Netherroot to do so. Tell Svanna that if she can keep us supplied, we can produce enough elixir for all the holds in a matter of weeks.
Any ideas on where we can get more Netherroot?
We can ransack Greyhost stockpiles, or mount an expedition into Blackreach. Otherwise, it would take decades of work to produce a proper crop. After we get the elixir squared away, we'll turn our attention to curing the Herald.
Did Singolis's notes tell you more about the Grey Reliquaries and the Stone Husks?
Indeed. As I surmised, the Grey Reliquaries contained the remains of ancient Greyhost warriors. They served as a connection to the souls trapped in Cold Harbor. Using the energy from the Harrowstorms, the souls were pulled into the stone husks.
And what was the purpose of the Stone Husks?
I believe the stone husks are incubators of a sort. The physical forms of the Grey Host are reincorporated within the stone vessels, through a mix of Singolis's alchemy and sorcery, and the magic of the Ice Reach witches. When whole, they burst free.
Okay.
I have seen many things in my time, but never could I have predicted I would soon train adepts of the Mages Guild in the arts of my ancestors.
Why is that?
This is an institution of elves. They know nothing of the soul of the world. Here, magic is a thing to be measured and weighed. Mages know. They do not feel.
Why teach them then?
Necessity and a hope they can learn. If we're to brew enough elixir for everyone in the kingdom, it will take all the herb grinders in the holds. Here at least they know how to use a mortar and pestle.
Alright, I'm gonna see if I can steal this. Alright, got some of it at least. Wait, what about this? Too easy to pass up.
Good to see you back again, Adept. The guild is strong.
No, I don't want to talk to you. I want to get out of here. I think I'm on the top floor is what's going on.
What do you want?
Nothing.
I was hoping you'd return before we began. Tell me you've got good news. I'll feel a lot better delivering a speech about healing and hope, knowing that we're on the road to recovery. What did Fenn have to say about the elixir?
They're making it as we speak, but he says they'll need more netherroot soon.
Not the best news, but I'll take it. So long as we have enough to protect our soldiers, we have a fighting chance against the Grey Host. I'll go to the Undergrove myself if that's what it takes.
Finn also believes he can make a cure for the Harrowed.
Now that would be cause for celebration. If he can really bring back even a fraction of those we lost to the Harrowstorms, I'm willing to try. That's all I needed to hear. We should begin the ceremony before the crowd grows more restless.
What do you have planned?
Nothing fancy. Just a traditional Nord wake. To mourn and celebrate those we've lost, and cherish the lives we still have. I'd like you to join us.
Very well.
None of us would be here to sing dirges for the dead or celebrate the living if not for you. I certainly wouldn't be here, ready to lead my hold. You've supported me since I started down this path. I'm honored to have you here at the end.
Alright, we got a skill point and a sword of solitude.
Sons and daughters of Skyrim, we have the honor today of remembering the dead.
Honor to the fallen.
Sons and daughters of Skyrim, our trials were fierce, but we are still here.
We stand and we remain.
Now, we raise our voices to tell Sovngarde of the coming of the worthy dead, and to tell the world that the Nords are still here! We are still standing!
The fallen now march home to hallowed halls, to join our ancestors in boundless drink and song and brawls. Let sound the horns, let peal the bells, let loose the ancient hymn. We will remain until time ends, we children of Skyrim.
I can't think of a more fitting send-off for my father than Nords of both kingdoms mourning side by side. Skyrim may be divided, but at least our honored dead are united in Sovngarde.
What are your plans going forward?
Yoren, Redharn, and I need to form a plan to distribute Fenn's elixir and push back against the Grey Host. And acquire more netherroot, it seems. There's a lot to be done, but I'm surrounded by good people. I trust we'll get through this together.
Anything I can help with?
I can't leave everything to you, you know. Well, I probably could. But even Greymoor took a rest now and again. Let us shoulder the burden for a while. I'm sure I'll need to call on you again soon enough.
I'm sure you will. Will you take over as High Queen?
I don't know. It's not important. Not right now. What matters is rallying the people against the enemy. Our real enemy. If that means seeking the crown, then I'll do what needs to be done.
Do you think Svargrim passed on to Sovngarde?
Sovngarde is a place for the honored dead. Svargrim gave up his seat in the Hall of Valor when he made his pact with the Ashen Lord. Wherever he is, I hope he regrets how he got there.
I'm glad to be done with this. Diplomacy and investigation aren't my favorite pastimes. They seem to suit you, though. You stepped up to the task better than I could have hoped.
Will you be leaving Western Skyrim now?
I'll be staying so long as Joran's here. Or until I can persuade him to send me after Rada al-Saran. That leech owes a lot of blood to us, and I intend to squeeze it out of him. We have to find him first.
Do we have any leads?
Whatever his plans were after sacking Solitude, we haven't uncovered them. With any luck, the Skald King will send me on a raid of the Grey Host, and I can beat some answers out of a few of them.
Let me know if you do.
Count on it.
There's Biora.
We've had a long road from Karthwatch to here, but all of us survived the journey unharmed. We are together, thanks to you. Our town may be gone, but thank the gods Solitude didn't suffer a similar fate.
What will become of Carthold?
Our town is lost. I've heard stories of towns left empty and untouched after fire, sickness, or storm. I don't see Karthwatch's fate being any different. As for the Hold, I suspect the Reachmen take control. There's no one left to fight back.
Have you experienced any more visions?
Nothing new, thank the Eight. But the memories of what those witches put in my head still haunts me. What could it mean? The sisters believed I am a descendant of some Reach hero, but I have no interest in that. As far as I care, I am a Nord.
I wonder if we'll find out more about that in Markarth.
I won't let what happened to Karthwatch happen anywhere else. If the Reachmen think they can take my homeland, I have an axe that will teach them otherwise.
What will you do now?
I must find a new home for my brothers and sisters of Karthwatch. My brother Fenrar spoke to Jarl Redhan. It may be that we settle in Morthal. I think Biora would prefer the high walls of Solitude, though. Wherever we go, we'll stick together.
All right.
The bastards who did this. I'm sorry we didn't get a chance to make them pay for it. But we're done chasing ghosts below ground for now.
Oh, really?
We're here to help however we can.
What will you and Phoebe do after this?
Once we help the people of Solitude get back on their feet, I imagine we'll go back to Blackreach. Though our initial investigation didn't reveal anything supernatural, there is still much to uncover and explore. I do not believe our work here is over.
Okay. What do you think, Phoebe?
As soon as we heard the news, Claudina insisted we come to offer whatever aid we could. Once again, you have proven yourself to be incredibly brave and downright fearless. If there's anything I can do to help, just ask.
What will you and Claudina do next?
Claudina seems intent on going back to Blackreach. After we help the poor people of this place rebuild, we'll head there. Spirits may not have been the culprits of what happened in Dusktown, but that doesn't mean they aren't down there.
All right. So he's not going to say anything to us. Where's Freywin? I see Freywin's name, but I don't actually see her anywhere. Right, here's Chief Urzik.
You have shown yourself to be a true warrior. Not only at Mor Khazgor, but here too. My clan is eager to repay you and help these people. We know they're suffering all too well.
Alright, see Lady Ninetha.
My friend, you have done so much for the holds of Western Skyrim. I fear it is a debt that can never be repaid. And bringing Freywin back to us, you will always have my thanks.
How have things been in Morthal?
Freywin's return is a blessing. Some have just taken longer to understand that. Sadly, there are no balms for broken trust.
Freywin?
Mother always told me stories of growing up in solitude.
but I never expected it to feel like this. All these people, and the buildings are so close together. How does anyone live here without feeling trapped?
How are you feeling? Any, freezing ice attacks lately?
As funny as it is to say, out of place. I spent so long in exile. I'm happy to be home. Mother has been so kind to me, but there is so much I need to mend with her, with my father. But I'm here, thanks to you. We all are, as I hear.
Okay.
After everything I've seen, I can no longer place my faith in Meridia. But I refuse to abandon my friends.
Good. What will happen to Kilkreath Temple, though?
We will attempt to seal the temple and purge the corruption. If it were up to me, I would leave it in ruins.
All right.
I hadn't had a moment to honor the fallen of Morthal since you came to my doorstep. Kind willing, they made their passage to Sovngarde.
Will you be returning to Morthal?
When things are settled here, Jarl March has weathered these storms better than Hafingar and Carthal. If we can keep the kingdom from complete collapse, it's worth a few weeks away from my home and hearth.
All right. High Priest Ingert?
I could not have said it better myself. Princess Svanna will make a fine ruler.
You'll support her, then?
Of course. Some may choose to blame her for her father's misdeeds, but I will seek forgiveness from them. There have been enough divisions of blood and feuding. It is a new day. This is a time to mend rifts and forge new bonds.
Okay, let's see. Is there anybody else? Swordthane Uthlet?
Princess Jarl Svanna reminds me more of the Queen every passing moment. We're in good hands, I think.
Will you serve her as you did Svargrim?
I'll pledge myself to her, if she'll have me. I was fool enough to follow Svargrim as long as I did, so it's more than I deserve.
He had many fooled.
He did, but I was by his side day in and day out. If anyone should have seen what he was becoming and put a stop to it, it was me. I owe a lot to Solitude for my failure. If Svanna allows me to repay it, I'll be glad.
In their own way, the people of Western Skyrim are as strong as the Nords of the East. Even after so much suffering, they still stand against the howling wind. We shall do everything within our power to help them recover.
Do you think Svanna's ready to rule Western Skyrim?
Blood alone does not make one worthy to rule a hold, let alone an entire kingdom. The princess will lead for now, but many questions must be answered before the Jarls crown a new ruler of Solitude. That's what a moot is for.
What are you going to do now, King Yoren?
If Princess Svanna agrees, I want to bring more of my people from Eastmarch to help restore Solitude and the Western Holds. My retinue is too small to deal with everything. We need more hands.
Will the people of Western Skyrim accept help from Eastmarch?
All I can do is to offer my aid in good faith. Whether they decide to grab my hand or to slap it away, that's up to them. Despite our differences, I love this land. It's as much Skyrim as my beloved Eastern holds. I would not see it suffer.
Do you think Eastern and Western Skyrim might reconcile?
Today? No, the time isn't right. As for the future, who can say? Svargrim was never interested in finding a path to reconciliation. Princess Svanna isn't a father, that much is clear. So I suppose I can hope.
My heart goes out to these people. We are no strangers to conflict back east, but none of our holds have been ravaged by the kind of devastation brought by the Grey Host. We are fortunate that you stopped them.
This is Prince Ernskar. If you ever play through the Eastmarch and the Rift zones in ESO, you'll come across these characters, High King Yoren, Prince Ernskar. If you've not played it, then they won't be familiar. So this character is new, so he doesn't really know these people, but let's continue. Svanna was impressive. She really stepped up when her kingdom needed her.
So I've heard. The princess has come a long way from the girl I met so long ago. And I've changed as well. I'm not quite as obnoxious and close-minded as I was when my father first formed the Ebonheart Pact. At least I try not to be.
Do you think there can finally be peace between Eastern and Western Skyrim?
If the princess remains in charge of the Western Holds, I think the chances of true reconciliation are good. My father will certainly do everything he can to make that happen. And so will I. Princess Svanna, she's become a very impressive woman.
Then I think that is it. That's everybody. We've talked to everyone. Alright, so I've run way over time. This is probably going to have to be split into 3 videos. But, I wanted to go ahead and finish the story before Markarth comes out tomorrow. I'll have the first episode of the Markarth series sometime the end of the week, early next week. In the meantime, thanks for watching. See you next time.